This month, Pope Benedict asks us to join him in praying for something that he calls shameful and monstrous. Here's his general intention: that the shameful and monstrous trafficking in human beings, which sadly involves millions of women and children, may stop. Human trafficking is a contemporary form of slavery. People, in search of better economic opportunities in their own country or elsewhere, fall in with traffickers who promise them a brighter future and end up leading them into a life in which they are unable to free themselves. It might be a life of housework or hard labor, or it might even involve pornography and prostitution. Out of fear, the victims remain enslaved, or they are forced into a drug addiction that creates a double bondage. Here's how Pope Benedict talked about this shameful and monstrous practice in his 2006 message for the World Day of Migrants and Refugees. It is necessary to mention trafficking in human beings, especially women, which flourishes where opportunities to improve their standard of living or even to survive are limited. It becomes easy for the trafficker to offer his own services to the victims, who often do not even vaguely suspect what awaits them. In some cases, there are women and girls who are destined to be exploited almost like slaves in their work, and not infrequently in the sex industry too. Just how many people are we talking about here? Well, worldwide the figure is 20 million people. Closer to home, it's estimated that annually 17,000 people are trafficked into the United States from 83 different countries. 2/3 of them are female, and 1/4 end up in the sex trade, either forced into prostitution or the pornography industry. About 70% of them end up in forced labor situations, working in domestic or janitorial services, or agriculture, or sweatshop factories. In some cases, the victims are teenagers who think they are going to get a good summer job, but end up living in terrible conditions and working 20 hours a day. In other cases, they are people who think they're going to get a good job that will allow them to pay off the expenses related to coming to the U.S., and they end up in debt bondage, unable to make enough money to pay off the trafficker who brought them there. And then there are the many teenagers who run away from home and end up selling themselves in order to survive. Human trafficking is a crime that happens all around us. Just last November, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops co-sponsored a conference on human trafficking with the Marianist Order, and just a few weeks earlier, the FBI had concluded a nationwide investigation and arrested 60 pimps and rescued 52 children from the sex trade. At that time, that made a total of 114 arrests in the U.S. for trafficking in 2009. As we pray against this terrible crime, we also need to examine ourselves. The root cause of human trafficking is the disregard of human dignity. Behind trafficking is the sin of treating other people not as persons made in the image and likeness of God, but as objects to be used, either for pleasure or convenience. This is a temptation that everyone struggles with. It may not take the form of actually enslaving others, but it could support such a crime. How? Well, pornography is one way, and internet porn is skyrocketing. To view pornography is to relate to other people as though they were objects, and it also supports an industry that is behind much of the trafficking that goes on. Another way that people are tempted to see others as objects involves those people we just don't like. They may be people we know, who take our time, who frustrate us, who irritate us, and we end up seeing them as somehow less than human, as frustrations, irritations, or problems, instead of as persons who are precious to God. As we pray for an end to trafficking, let us commit ourselves to rooting out any of our own sinful tendencies to objectify other people.